A few months ago, this lovely lady approached me and she said, we really enjoyed your session at Lotusphere, and what we would like to do is to bring this session to a group at the University of Zurich. They've rolled out lotus-notes. Roberto I met at Lotusphere. Actually, I should pull up their photo. I met Roberto at Lotusphere and he was telling me about some of the questions that the IT staff were getting about lotus-notes, and how they would really like to bring this session here to you guys this afternoon. I will try and slow it down a little bit, not too much. I apologise, my English is terrible. Australian English is even worse. So we'll see how we go. Oh, wait a little zappy. Here we go. All right, so Lotusphere, User Blast. This fantastic session was all about knowing your notes, having a look at the shortcuts that are available to us in Lotus Notes, having a look at the fantastic features that are available to us in the Lotus Notes bookmark bar, working out how to use Lotus Notes Search, which is the most powerful feature about Lotus Notes. As a Lotus Notes fan now for over 20 years, Search is the best thing about Lotus Notes, so we'll be going through that as we work through today. Does anyone here use widgets yet? So who are the Notes users? Yes? Lots of us? Fantastic. Who are the real Lotus Notes users? Who has Lotus Notes client? Not iNotes. Hey, that's what we like to see. So for those of you with Lotus Notes clients, you're really going to benefit from this section that I go through on widgets and actions that are available to you. You'll see that with the Lotus Notes 8.5 client that's been rolled out by Roberto and his team across the university, this is the biggest difference between what people know as Lotus Notes and the latest versions of Lotus Notes, because these are the features that really make the Lotus Notes client something very special. So we'll be having a look at those. Some fantastic actions, some plugins, having a look at getting social inside the Lotus Notes client. So who here has a Twitter account? Some of us? Who's on Facebook? LinkedIn? All right, so we can do all this sort of stuff inside Lotus Notes. Okay, so we begin with knowing your notes, of course. There are a number of different parts to the Lotus Notes client. Users, of course, need to recognise that working with the Lotus Notes client is not working with email, okay? Once you get over this whole Lotus Notes is an email program, no it is not, then your experience with this particular piece of software will be a lot easier, because treating Lotus Notes just as an email client, you will see, will get very confusing, because what we tend to do when we're thinking about Lotus Notes or even email clients is we tend to think about another email client that you may have seen before. Has anyone used this? No, you haven't. It's Lotus Notes. Ha-ha. All right. So yes, that is one of my nice little, look, it is a Lotus Notes database. See, tick, 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 tick. You can't do that in Outlook. It's a nice feature. All right. Who are the administrators? So what our administrators, of course, have to do is enable our users with powerful policies. We don't want to prevent our users from sending 1 megabyte attachments. We don't want to prevent our users from being able to access all these wonderful widgets and actions and plugins and features that are available inside the Lotus Notes client. The more features that we make available to you, the users, the more you appreciate the power that's actually in this particular software application. And of course, everyone needs to know that Lotus Notes is really, really easy to use. So for the next couple of minutes, I'll be going through some general user interface features, having a look at the sidebar, the open list and the bookmark bar, and standard database layouts. So let's go and have a look at this inside our lovely Lotus Notes client. I'm actually going to start this session with keyboard shortcut number 1. If you hold down the control key on the keyboard from anywhere inside Lotus Notes and press the letter M, it is the control key, isn't it? not stumpen, sinden, yeah. So if you go Control M, inside Lotus Notes, that will give you an email message. You see that I didn't need to be inside my mail database to go and create that. Keyboard shortcut number 2. If you want to close anything inside your Lotus Notes client, in the top left-hand corner of the keyboard, you just hit the escape key. So even if I've gone in and I've opened up 30 or 40 different windows inside my Lotus Notes client, I can just go and hit the escape key. That's got excited, hasn't it? Go and hit my escape key and that will go and close all of those windows for me. Escape, 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 escape. There we go. We're all the way there. Okay. Up in the top, I've lost mine. That's the projector. Right? Up in the top left-hand corner of the screen is this fantastic open button. So the open button inside Lotus Notes gives us access to all of the bookmarks that we've created inside the Lotus Notes client. So what these bookmarks allow you to do is to open anything inside Lotus Notes quickly and easily. Very quickly, if you right-hand click on the open button, you'll see that there's an option in here to dock the open list. This is actually how I prefer to run. That's not working. Can we shift that? Can we shift that? Can we go a little bit that way? Is it possible? Yeah, probably not. Okay, so trust me, down the left-hand side of the screen I've now got, actually, here we go. How about we just drag that down a little bit, and then we'll be able to see what's going on. Yay! We'll shift a bit. I feel like Mr. Bean. Okay. So there I have my now I've got to dodge this thing. There it goes. Okay, so now I've got my bookmark bar running down the left-hand side of the screen. Personally, I like the bookmark bar because it now gives me single-click access to anything inside the Lotus Notes client. So again, it's just right-hand click, dock the open list. That will give you the open button. If you don't like the open button, again, just right-hand click on that again. Choose dock the open list. It'll turn it back into the bookmark bar. We can go and click any bookmark, and now we've got quick and easy access to anything inside the Lotus Notes client. The other thing that you can do with the bookmark bar, if you right-hand click on that, we can actually go and choose this Use Large Icons feature. When we choose that, it'll give you nice, great big buttons down the left-hand side of the screen. So if you've got a lovely 32-inch monitor, so the university are giving you all 32-inch monitors, and now you'll all be able to see quickly and easily what all these buttons do, and I might actually leave that like that for just a few moments. So that's my open button. The other thing that's normally up on the standard Lotus Notes workspace bar is the fantastic Show Windows feature. Now, if I have a number of different windows open inside my Lotus Notes client, let's go and open up that one and that one, and I hit the Show Thumbnails button, Control-Shift-T, what that will do is open up a nice little preview window which will show me all of the screens that I've currently got open inside the Lotus Notes client. So that's Control-Shift-T, it'll bring up the screen. You can then tab through, you can click, you can do whatever you want, and it'll jump straight through to that screen. So rather than you having to try and, is it that one? Is it that one? Is it that one? Remember Control-Shift-T, there's your previews. The little tip here, you see the no smoking sign if you haven't had that window open for more than 3 seconds. So as long as it's been open for 3 seconds, it'll then turn into a preview. So you notice that that second one I had open did have a no smoking sign before, it doesn't now. And again, I can just go and escape out of there and go and close those screens. So the other main feature of the Lotus Notes client, running down the right-hand side of the window, we have our fantastic sidebar. Now you can see that there are 1 or 2 icons in my sidebar. Yep. So for those of you who haven't got all of the icons, you will have the maybe activities, you'll have my widgets, you'll have same time. Everyone here uses same time? Yay? And you now have same time standard. You can do all sorts of really trendy things with same time standard. I'll go through those in a little while. The one that I really like in here, of course, is my day at a glance calendar. What this actually tells me is that I'm currently on annual leave. No, we're not. We're supposed to be checking in for a flight to go home. Okay, so what does that actually let me do? It doesn't matter what screen I'm currently in. So again, I could be back over here looking at my Lotus Notes notebook. Do you notice how hard I'm avoiding the mail database? Yes? We never start our Lotus Notes demonstrations by talking about email, because Lotus Notes is not an email program. So here I am inside my Lotus Notes notebook database, and I can still go and look over here and see what's going on inside my calendar. So if I am reading an email and someone is telling me about some dates, it's very easy for me in my day-at-a-glance calendar to very quickly go through and see what's actually happening across all of the agendas, all of the schedules, all of the meetings that I've actually got to go and attend. I can click on September, of course, and very quickly and easily go back through to a different month. Let's go back to April. So in April, there we go, I had to go and see my bank manager because I had to pay for the trip to come over here. Not all of it though. All right, so day at a glance, it's a fantastic little tool. Later on, I'll be going through some of the other tools that we've got available to us in our Lotus Notes sidebar. The sidebar shortcuts, by the way, if you hold down Control and press 0, Control 0 will completely hide the sidebar. Control 3 will show the sidebar shortcuts. Control 4 will open the sidebar. One of the great things about Lotus Notes is Lotus Notes was actually invented back in 1987. Now, if you can remember computers back in 1987, yes, and didn't have these things, okay? So because Notes has been around for that long, there literally is a keyboard shortcut in Lotus Notes for anything that you want to do on the screen. All right, so the last thing that we have to have a look at with the general Lotus Notes interface is how all of these Lotus Notes databases actually work. So every single Lotus Notes database, he says, will this work today? Come on, you will work for me. You will work. There we go. So up here in the top left-hand corner of every database, I've got a title. Underneath the title, I've got my navigator. The main area here on the screen is called a view. And then running across the top of the view, I've got my action bar. In the middle of the view and the navigator, I've got my selection bar. And then either running across the bottom of the screen or on the side of the screen, I've got my preview windows. Now, the preview windows in Lotus Notes can be controlled just using this show button. So when I click on the show button on the action bar, that will allow me to show either previews on the side of the screen or showing preview on the bottom of the screen. So if you're a preview person, you can choose where you want those previews to work. And trust me, when Roberto gives you all your 34-inch monitors, you will want to put the preview on the side because it works really well on those big screens. If you want to close it, you can just hit the collapse button in the middle. That'll make it disappear, and that preview will disappear out of the window. Now, one of the things that you have to be aware of with every Lotus Notes database is that every Lotus Notes application has exactly the same keyboard shortcuts, exactly the same features. So if I'm sitting at my desk in the morning, cup of coffee in hand, and I just want to read my email, all I need to do is press the Enter key. Because when I press the Enter key, it'll open a record, and as I keep on pressing Enter, it'll keep on going forwards through all of the records. Here we go, doesn't that look nice? If I want to go backwards, all I've got to do is hit the backspace key. Okay? So Enter and backspace in any Lotus Notes application will allow you to navigate through the databases, through the records in the database. If you have opened up a record, you can mark it as unread again just by pressing the Insert key. And the other really neat thing in here, here we go, there's caramel slice, and here's how to make homemade wine. So we'll mark that one as well. So I'm just pressing the Insert key in here. That's marking all of these records. You'll notice that when I open these now and press the Tab key on the keyboard, it's going to jump back to the caramel slice. If I press Tab again, it's going to jump down to that caramel and peanut slice, hit Tab again, and there's my grandmother's zucchini slice. These are the documents that I marked as unread. It's a really good zucchini slice. And by the way, because on my Lotus Notes toolbar, right-hand click, toolbar, universal, when you turn the universal toolbar on inside Lotus Notes, what that does is it gives you a couple of really, really nice shortcuts. One of them is this lovely blue button, which is the forward button. And what that will do for you is when you click on it, anything that you're looking at inside the Lotus Notes client immediately gets turned into an email message. So if you want to share something via email inside Lotus Notes, it's incredibly simple to do. It's just a one-click keyboard shortcut. Okay, so that's enough of Nanny C's zucchini slice. All right, searching in Lotus Notes. No, I'll go back through searching a little bit later on. So those are the main keyboard shortcuts. Control-Home to get to the top, by the way. Control-N to get to the bottom. Enter, which will let you open and navigate forward through your records. Backspace will let you go backwards. Tab to go to only the unread records. And then remember the Insert key on your keyboard, which will mark a record as read or unread. That works for every single Lotus Notes application. They all work the same way. The great thing about Lotus Notes, everything has the same layout, everything has the same keyboard shortcut. Searching and finding information works the same whether it's in your email or your notebook or your calendar or your to-do list. And that's why I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through those other databases, because they work exactly the same way. Am I speaking slowly enough? I'm starting to get excited though. Hey? I like doing presentations, they're fun. All right, standard database layout. So there we go. So if you actually want to jump onto my website, mattnewman.com or maybe Bellsoft, we'll load it up on the Bellsoft website. I'll actually give you access to this presentation so that you can download it and go through all of these shortcuts and tips as we're working through. So this presentation was actually prepared by Mary Beth Raven and I last year, and Mary Beth is really, really pedantic about making sure that if your demonstrations don't work, you have the slides in there to back them up, which is really good because last year when we did a practice presentation at the UK conference, I was using an experimental version of Ubuntu and an experimental version of Lotus Notes, and the two didn't play very well together, so it worked good. Okay, so there's the Lotus Notes sidebar. There's the shortcuts we were talking about with the open button. Remember, standard database or application layout, whether it's a custom Lotus Notes database or a standard Lotus Notes database. Remember our preview and show thumbnail commands. So with your previews, we can do preview on the side, preview on the bottom. Turning on advanced menus, if you don't see some of these options, you may have to turn on your advanced menus. There we go. There's the additional options for those. Remember the show thumbnails button, Control-Shift-T will give you a preview. So again, when we have a lot of windows open, it's a very simple way for us to navigate through them. All of the standard shortcuts, there's a lovely URL in here. Can everyone memorize that very quickly? Yes? Okay. Actually, we should start giving out prizes. What was that URL? Sir, here we go. Have the fantail. All right. Later on, this is the bit where you guys all get to be seals. All right. So don't forget the framework shortcuts. Control-M to create an email message. Escape is closing. Control-Shift-T. And by the way, one thing that I didn't really show you in there, which I should have, Control-Shift-L inside Lotus Notes will actually bring up the shortcut window. So these are all of the shortcuts that are available to you everywhere inside the Lotus Notes client. And we can go and scroll up and down through those and quickly and easily see what all of those shortcuts actually are. So that's another really nice one that I just jumped through. Here we go, we'll go that way. All right, database shortcuts, enter backspace F4 or tab and then insert. Bookmarks. Bookmarks are one of the greatest things inside the Lotus Notes client. Bookmarks inside Lotus Notes can actually control a number of the different features that the Lotus Notes client uses, and you don't need the administrators to allow you to do these things. You can do them yourselves. So what bookmarks in the Lotus Notes client allow us to do? First of all, whenever you have anything open, so I have a window open here inside Lotus Notes, and we're all aware that we have a tab for every window that we open? Yes. Feedback is always good. Okay. So we get the tab and we drag that tab all the way over here to our bookmark bar. Now, when you let that go, you've just created a brand new bookmark. You now have single-click access to that screen that you've just tabbed. Now, the neat thing is, this is my Lotus Notes notebook database, and as you can see, everything that I want to remember, I'm a big fan of Dave Allen and his getting things done methodology. And one of the first premises that he uses is get it out of your head. Okay? So if something doesn't go on my calendar, normally it goes into my Lotus Notes notebook. So here is a new notebook window. By the way, if I'm in a database and I hold down the Alt key on the keyboard, notice how the action bar buttons are now all numbered. So I can actually click on that new button without using my mouse. So now again, I've got this tab at the top of the window, which now represents a blank document. If I grab hold of the blank document and bookmark that, what that's going to do for me is, come on. Okay, what it does for me is it goes and creates a bookmark which will go and create a blank document whenever I click on it. Now, this new tool that's also up on your Lotus Notes toolbar, the new tool is also controlled by bookmarks. So if you have a blank document and you bookmark it into this very special More Bookmarks Create folder, you can see that anything that we put into More Bookmarks Create, these are all of the things that I work with constantly. So therefore, when I'm creating an email message and I'm on the phone and I need to generate a help desk call, I don't have to open the help desk database first. I just click New, choose the type of record that I'm interested in, and it creates it for me. So here we go, create a new notebook entry, just like that. New, there it is, new notebook entry. How do I create these? Really simple. We just right-hand click on that workspace tab, choose Create Bookmark, and then make sure that it's underneath More Bookmarks Create. When you do that, it will then automatically put it underneath the new tool for you. For those of you, does anyone here ever take phone messages? Couple of us? So inside Lotus Notes, if you go Create, Mail, Special, Phone Message, that's nice and easy, isn't it? We get a fantastic phone message window. So what this phone message will do for you, you only need to put in an address. So if I type in Sandra Bueller, beautiful. Sandra Bueller, please contact Matt of ISW, and that will automatically send a message to Sandra which says, phone message from Matt of ISW. And she goes and clicks it and opens it up. That's a really good one, guys, to right-hand click, create a bookmark, and make sure that you put it underneath More Bookmarks Create. When you have a number of different applications that you want to go and open when your Lotus Notes client starts. So in Australia, there's a really fantastic website. I hope they've got something good today. Here we go. Your internet is pretty good. I like your internet. Can I come and work with you? Okay. Okay, so we have a link schmink. I have no idea what it is. But this website, they sell one thing every day. Oh, by the way, this is where you can buy all of those 32-inch monitors, because I bought one off this website for 130 odd euros. It was cheap. Okay, this is something that I want to have a look at every single morning. And because it's something that I want to look at every day, what I'm going to do is right-hand click on this bookmark, create a bookmark, and this time I'm going to put it into Startup. So anything that I put in underneath More Bookmarks Startup, when I start my Lotus Notes client, those tabs are automatically going to start for me at the beginning of the day. So now I sit down, have my cup of coffee, press my enter key to read my email, go and click on my Zaz tab, and if I'm not interested in what Zaz is selling today, I can just close that window. That's fine. Tomorrow morning when I start Lotus Notes up again, it's going to come back for me. Yay! Okay. All right. So bookmarks, really, really great things to actually work with. Last thing about bookmarks, by the way, if you do end up with too many bookmarks on your bookmark bar, if you just right-hand click on those bookmarks, you can remove them. Or alternatively, if you right-hand click on a bookmark, you can also change its icon. You can also go and rename those bookmarks. So it's very easy to control your bookmarks inside Lotus Notes. Remember again, it's just right-hand click, turn off use large icons, and now you can probably see all of those icons again down the left-hand side of your screen. Nice and easy. Lovely. Bookmarks. Okay. So bookmarks, access anything, launch tabs, create new documents. It also controls the welcome screen. Controls the welcome screen. Do you want me to show them how to change the welcome screen? Okay. Folks, the last thing that bookmarks inside Lotus Notes actually allows you to do, you can see that I have my corporate welcome screen. Lovely. I really don't like that very much. I would prefer to see this screen. Here we go. So I'm right-hand clicking on that bookmark, set bookmark as homepage. Do I want to replace the ISW portal? Yes. Yeah. Who has their Lotus Notes workspace? Yes? Oh, I love my workspace. It's really good. Okay, so right-hand click any bookmark, choose set bookmark as homepage. Now that's your welcome screen. When you start Lotus Notes, that's exactly what you're going to start with. So they're the things that we can actually launch. Again, these screens just step through those demonstrations that I was working with. Locating bookmarks is something, again, that's been vastly improved in Lotus Notes 8.5. Who's ever used Lotus Notes before Lotus Notes 8.5? Before Lotus Notes 8? Before Lotus Notes 7, before Lotus Notes 6, before Lotus Notes 5, before Lotus Notes 4, before Lotus Notes 3, before Lotus Notes 2. No hands. Oh, okay. Yeah, there are 3 of you. You guys come and see me later. I'll give you a packet of Tim Tams. All right. So one of the great things that we can do now inside Lotus Notes 8 is actually find information really easily. Does anyone know what the keyboard shortcut for find is in every program on the planet? Control F. Every program on the planet, right? Not in Outlook. Okay? In Outlook, if you go Control F, what does it do? It forwards. Yeah! Okay, so if I go Control F, that'll actually bring up a find screen in Lotus Notes 8.5. I can go through and I can find something on my workspace. So if I was after that horrible shortcut again, what did I call it? Lookout. There we go. So I just type what I'm looking for and I can find something on my workspace without having to go through. Yes, you can go away now. Without having to go through and click on all my tabs and try and find what's actually going on. The other thing that's really neat, at the top of the bookmark bar, or again, if you've got your bookmark bar right-hand click docked, you'll see that clicking on the open button and you've immediately got your type to find feature happening. This will now allow you to search everything that's on your Lotus Notes workspace, in your Lotus Notes bookmark bar, and also in your Lotus Notes history. So wherever you've been in Lotus Notes for the last week, here we go, I can see that I opened up Matt's notebook a week ago, and which document did I go and open? My password document, of course, which is why half the screen is blanked out, because I don't want you to know all of my passwords. Okay, but that's a fantastic little record that I have inside my Lotus Notes notebook, and by the way, for those of you who have one of these, no, not so many. Okay, for those of you who have iPhones or Android, you can get access to your Lotus Notes notebook through iNotes if you're on the browse. If you've got an iPad or an Android device, again, you can get access to your Lotus Notes notebook. So all these people running around, you know, oh, Evernote is so lovely, I can put my stuff and then it'll go everywhere. We can do exactly the same thing with our Lotus Notes notebook. And we've been doing it for a very long time. Okay, so how do I find? Click on there. Type to find, here we go, let's type lookout again. That's now going to search through everything on my workspace, everything on my bookmark bar, everything in my history, and it's going to filter that down for me and show me everything that's got the word lookout somewhere in it. So finding information in Lotus Notes, really, really simple. Finding bookmarks or anything on your workspace, really easy as well. So remember, it's just clicking on the open button and away we go. The search toolbar in Lotus Notes is one of the absolutely fantastic things that IBM did do with Lotus Notes version 8. So with Lotus Notes version 8, what we now have is this lovely search toolbar in the top right-hand corner of our screen. Now, just to show you how great this search is, I'm going to right-hand click on my mail database, go to Application Properties. I don't have a quota. And you can see in here that I have a 4.5 gigabyte Lotus Notes mail database. Outlook would have gone long ago. And there are about 45,500 records in here. And I know that from anywhere inside Lotus Notes, I can go up to my search bar, type in Willows, because I'm pretty sure somewhere about 7 or 8 years ago, I stayed at a hotel called the Willows. That has just searched 45,500 records, which make up 4.5 gigabytes of data. Sorry, we're Swiss. We speak properly. Yes, it's data. Yeah, we're not in America. And there we go. There is a record in here which tells me that I stayed at a place called the Willows back in 2007. So the search toolbar in Lotus Notes is fantastic. That's searched my mail. If I hit the drop down, you can see that I can search my calendar. If I hit the drop down again, I can go and search my contacts, all without leaving the screen that I'm currently working on. So if you're in your email and you're trying to find a person called Sandra, you can find that information quickly and easily without having to go and switch into another application. One of the other great things that I've got in here, any single Lotus Notes application, here we go, I've got a notebook backup, that'll do. No, not that one, Matthew. Let's try that one, that'll do. Any Lotus Notes application can be added into this search scope. And it's pretty easy. All we've got to do is click on the drop-down arrow, and you can see on the search scope bar that there's a feature in here that allows me to always show this application in my list. So now it doesn't matter, again, where I am inside Lotus Notes. If I want to find some information, all I need to do is to go up to my search bar, change my focus. Can you see I now have projects in my search list? And now I can go and search that particular database. We obviously have our CRM system in here, so quite frequently I'll be typing an email, I'll be thinking, now what the hell is his name? Go and do a search, it'll search our CRM and locate that information for me. So the search toolbar is fantastic. The other things that of course we have to know about searching Lotus Notes, the two quick and easy ones to work with, first of all in Lotus Notes is good old quick search. You don't have to activate any search feature, you don't have to control F to find. If you want to find your Thai yellow curry recipe, you just type the word Thai and it will find it for you. If you want to find a song called Kaisan, you just type that and it will find it for you. If you want to find explicit photos of Sandra Bueller, you could type that and that will find it for you as well. Okay, so that's the Lotus Notes quick search window. You just start typing and away it goes. Of course, it will allow, if you've got your Lotus Notes database sorted by any column, it will go and find it for you. Sorting by date, by the way, my favourite sort by date and search. I have no idea what today is because I have no idea what country I'm in. But if you go and type today, that will always go off for you and find today's date when you are searching in a date column. Okay? So today and yesterday will of course work very well in your email, but do not type tomorrow because you haven't got those ones yet. Okay? All right, and the final thing about searching Lotus Notes, remember that keyboard shortcut that you think is find in Outlook that's not find? Well, it works in Lotus Notes as well. So if I go Control F, that'll go and search in any column, in any Lotus Notes view that I'm looking at. If I'm trying to find anything that's got curry, here we go and find something that's got curry in it, and that's just going to jump through all of the curry entries that are sitting inside this particular view. Remember, if you want to search the content, all you need to do is use the super special search toolbar in your Lotus Notes client. So searching in Lotus Notes, it's my favourite feature. It's the reason that I've loved Lotus Notes for just on 20 odd years. Truly, all you need to do is go up to the view menu, choose search this view, come over here to the right hand side of the screen, choose more, and then hit create index. And all will be good. Trust me. Okay? I've been doing this a long time. It does work. This isn't smoke and mirrors. It really is very good. We have a skeptic in the audience. Do we have any other skeptics? Okay, you can give me your questions later. Okay, search toolbar, how do you find it? So there we go, no need to search, no need to switch, results open up in a new tab. If you open up a Notes app, you can go and add it into your search list. Java applications, if you do have a Lotus Notes notebook, you just need to go Control-Alt-Click to open it in classic mode. And when you open an application in classic mode, then you'll be able to do nice things like add it to the search scope in the toolbar. All right, so searching within any Notes database, remember we've got quick search, we've got find, we've got full text searching. There's how quick search works. Here's how find works. Full text searching, view, search this view, more, create index. Make sure you tick index attachments because Lotus Notes has been able to search attachments for 20 years as well. It's very, very clever stuff. It's good software. All right, this is the stuff that Mary Beth put in here. 853, so everyone has 853 now. Thanks to our super Lotus Notes administrator who's making sure that everyone has 853. One of the really nice things inside your mail, when you go and sort by subject, all of the reason forwards are actually stripped out of there. So if it was a, lotus-nose Swiss, re-lotus-nose Swiss, re-lotus-nose Swiss, it doesn't matter. All the re's get stripped out and it's all just lotus-nose Swiss, all sorted in a nice big long line, which is pretty neat. And the slide in and finding the right person with the new type ahead. Actually, that is one of the really nice features. I'll go back to that one. In Lotus Notes 853, if you go File, have you locked this down? I'm asking you because you're the one who gives the policies. No? Fantastic. So what you can do in Lotus Notes 853 is you can actually go File, Preferences, go to Contacts, and you can choose to show additional information next to a contact when you type their name in. So if you actually know a number of different smells, I only know one, but next to it, it now has super duper developer who is going to give me a job next year. All right, so you can have all extra information showing up next to your search windows. The calendar search has been updated as well. It's absolutely fantastic. How are we going for time? 15 minutes. I've been talking too slow. Okay, this is the stuff that I absolutely love. Widgets inside Lotus Notes allow you to do a whole heap of things that actually extend the Lotus Notes client. I'm just going to do one really, really simple, here we go, Google Gadgets. No one wants to see fish swimming in their Lotus Notes sidebar, do they? No? It's very calming. Oh, that's a horrible email. Grrr, fish. Ah. Okay. What do widgets do for us? These are the things that appear in my Lotus Notes sidebar. Here we go, Control 4 to go and open that up. You can see that I've got a couple of IBM Connections widgets in here. One of my favourites is the BBC Mobile widget. So when I'm in the UK, it's really easy for me to keep track of what's going on because it's all appearing there for me in my sidebar. On my 32-inch monitor that IT gave me, it's absolutely brilliant. I do a fair bit of travelling, so here is my Qantas Mobile widget. Now what the Qantas Mobile widget allows me to do is from inside my Lotus Notes client, without having to go to a web browser and go to my favourite airline and then type in my location and fill in the dates, I'm just sitting there reading an email and I go, okay, I've got to be in Zurich on the, whatever, today. Hit search and it goes off and shows me. Fantastic. How do we get these? Dictionary. We'll do the dictionary today. M.diction, D-I-C-T-I-O-N. I'm sorry, Schrodinger, I'm in your lecture theatre and I'm not spelling correctly. Dictionary.com. All right, so this is just a lovely little mobile website. Oh, I should have tested that before I went into it, shouldn't I? Okay, m.wikipedia.com. Oh, one of these will work. Here we go, today's featured article. All right, so what I'm doing here, I'm looking at the mobile Wikipedia website, and every now and then, because I'm not a very clever person, people send me email messages with really long words in them that I struggle to understand. So what I'd like to be able to do is just highlight one of those words, click it, and do a search. Sound fair? That's the sort of thing that widgets will let you do. So here I have a mobile website. I know there's a search box up here, and if I go and click this fantastic button, configure a widget from the current context, that will start a wizard for me in Lotus Notes, which will allow me to walk through and wire Lotus Notes to that website. How cool is that? Here we go. I'd like to fill out a form on this web page. It's found the form. Nice. Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. I'd like to wire that as an action. This is all pretty easy so far, isn't it? I'd like to recognise text selection and finish. Now, whenever I'm inside any Lotus Notes record, so let's go to that horrible database, and we'll open up, that one. All right, so I've opened up a record, and there's a phrase in here that says high-speed broadband. So now all I'm going to do is highlight that, right-hand click on it, and look at all the stuff that I can do to that highlighted text inside Lotus Notes, including my very special new Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia widget. Click that. That's going to go off, automatically find it, do the search. Notice it's already filled in the phrase for me, and actually come back and show me the results. Now you can choose whether you want these things to open up in a completely new window, you can choose to have them open in a new tab, or as you can see, you can have these things open up inside a sidebar. So one of the things that I do inside my Lotus Notes client, I've got text selection wired to a destination city. I have my Qantas thing set from Hobart, because that's where I live, to destination city, and then it goes off and does the search for me, and all I've got to do is choose the dates. It's just a fantastic feature inside my Lotus Notes client. If I've got 15 minutes, that's the only widget one I can do, isn't it? Bugger. Widgets are really, really cool. They are fantastic. Guys, any mobile site that you come across inside Lotus Notes, you can turn it into a sidebar panel. This morning at 3 a.m, I was supposed to be watching the NFL, American Football Giants game with my mate in America. So what I normally do on Tuesday mornings in Australia is I go and put the NFL mobile website over here in my sidebar, and I'm working away inside Lotus Notes and watching the Giants win the Super Bowl. Yay! Okay, so there's some really great stuff that you can do in there with widgets. It's brilliant. The other thing that we've got available to us inside Lotus Notes in the sidebar are plugins. Now, the difference between a widget and a plugin, a widget is just a mobile website. A plugin is an actual application. The one that I'm very quickly going to demonstrate for you is, where's it gone? Wildfire. Here we go. This little Lotus Notes sidebar plugin is one that we actually wrote ourselves. It's available on the internet for free. All you need to do is go to a very simple website, wildfire.openntf.org, and when you go to that website, there's a really nice thing in here that says, to quickly install Wildfire, drag this link into your My Widgets sidebar panel. That will give you a client. As you can see, I've got IBM connections, Facebook, Twitter, Google Talk, LinkedIn, IBM same time. I've got all of these social networks that I can go and update with a single click. So I'm now going to tell everyone that I'm at lotus-notes Swiss with, what? With, that's too long. And happy face. So now if I go and hit my post button, what that's going to do is it's going to go off and post that status. For me, it's actually going to go off and post the status to half a dozen connection sites, my Facebook page, my LinkedIn page, my Twitter screen, all at the same time. Now everyone in the world knows where I actually am. Okay? And by the way, while I'm doing that, so I get... Hey, nice. All right, so there's Sandra. Sandra's just tweeted something and it's appeared in, again, in my Lotus Notes sidebar. Now, it really works for me because, as you can tell, I'm a pretty excitable sort of guy. So, you know, I've got the attention span of a rabid squirrel. You know, read an email, check my status. Read my email, check my status. It's really easy. But, guys, it's fairly simple in here to go off and do a very quick search and see if anyone else is saying anything, if I can spell correctly, about Lotus Notes today. Okay, so finding information, really, really simple. That's an example of a Lotus Notes sidebar plugin. There are lots and lots of plugins available to you that do some really cool stuff. For the administrators, you know, Lotus Notes sidebar administrator client, yes. For the rest of us, that was really exciting. All right, currency converters, you know, exchange rates, all sorts of things that you can using your Lotus Notes sidebar plugins. This thing is what makes Lotus Notes 8 differenter to all of the other versions of Lotus Notes. Okay, guys, check it out, have a play, use it, because there are some fantastic features in there. How am I going? Am I back on track yet? Yeah? Okay. Adding a Lotus Notes view. Does anyone in here have to monitor a Lotus Notes database for new information? No? No one else has to open anyone else's mail or calendar? No? Okay, so this is another really nice one for you. Instead of having to have another tab open all the time and jumping over to that person's mail, all you have to do is open their mail database, click on the configure a widget from the current context button, and you can add that screen. Let's just configure a widget for now. Actually, Matthew, not that button, the other button. Here we go, that one. Yeah, I know, it's a Java view. Shh. Click that button, add it to your sidebar, and over here somewhere I have a Lotus Notes mail database. Is it that one? Anyway, here's a Lotus Notes database that's actually open in my sidebar. I don't have to open and close it all the time. It's just automatically sitting there for me. So anything new will appear inside this screen. All right, and you can do that with most standard Lotus Notes views. That's a really neat one to add in. All right, go the other way. There we go. All right, adding a view to the sidebar, adding mail to a sidebar. Remember, we went and did that. Come on, let's go. Mail to the sidebar, actions. So what do actions do? Remember when we were creating that widget, instead of just saying on the website, make a widget, we actually went and chose wire as an action. And when we wire as an action, what that will allow us to do, there we go. So the famous demo that everyone does is Google Maps. Yeah. The recommendation in here when you're using the Google Maps one, about the, where is it, the third or fourth screen, don't use recognize content, because recognize content address will only work in the United States. Okay, so just make sure that you have other content text selection, and then you can highlight any address anywhere in the world, right-hand click it and do Google Maps search and have it pop up in a new window, and it'll show you exactly where it is inside your Lotus Notes client. Okay, quick and easy, it's really nice. All right, wiring the result, two essential actions. One of the nice ones that I always recommend people wire inside Lotus Notes are actions that will actually allow you to create a new email message. So if you open any email message, come on, what I can do is hit configure a widget from the current context, build a widget that fills out this notes form. What do I want to call it? An email. What do I want to wire it to? Where's the send? SS. Send to. Next. I want to recognize content this time, and this time I'm going to go for person email. What that will now do for me in Lotus Notes is automatically turn on a feature called live text. Live text will now highlight any email address in any record in anywhere inside Lotus Notes. Now, every email address is a hyperlink. I can click it and it'll automatically create an email message for me. I've also got the same thing wired in. Your email messages contain stuff in your signature folder, yeah? Yep. Here we go, Matt at Matt Newman. Phil Penman? No, Phil doesn't do that. Let's go and sort this by. I'll go to all documents. Who loves their all documents view in their Lotus Notes mail? All hail all documents. Oh, best thing since sliced bread. Here we go. So remember, this is a view with 45,500 messages in it. And I just want to go to the one that's from Sandra, and there it is. Lovely. Okay. And I'm pretty sure, there we go, there was one here. There we go. Sandra. Well, you said you put your email in your signature. There they are. Okay, so you can see that all of these email addresses have all just lit up for me with lovely blue live text. So now if I go and click one of these, for me, it'll actually pop up and give me 3 options, because I've wired email addresses to a new email, to a new meeting invitation, and also to a to-do assignment. Assign a to-do. Which, of course, we always do for Sandra. All right, so it's really quick and easy in Lotus Notes to go and pick up anything like that. Live text recognizers will allow me to then assign or wire those actions and let me go and associate it with anything else that I've got inside Lotus Notes. A really cool feature for you to be aware of. So there's 2 essential actions. Sharing widgets. Once you've got a widget, then you can add it into the widget catalog, or alternatively you can email it. So if you've gone to all of the trouble of creating a really fantastic widget, which was maybe an Australia Post, Swiss Post, UPS, FedEx, yes? And they've all got tracking numbers. So if I've gone and created a widget that automatically recognises UPS tracking numbers in an email message, so that when you go and click on it, it goes to the UPS tracking site, does the search and shows you where the parcel is. To share that with you, all I need to do is right-hand click on that, choose email to, and it'll turn that widget into an email. Now when you open the email message, all you've got to do is go and click on the actions menu and add widget to my widgets. Okay, so it's really easy to share widgets inside Lotus Notes as well. It's one of the great little features in there. Okay, go back the other way. All right, so sharing widgets. There we go. You can mail a widget to a friend, which is what we've just done. And there's that shortcut for bang the widgets, install the widget for you. Plugins, this is what I went through a little bit earlier. So there's a whole heap of plugins that are available for you. Connections plugins, the activity plugins. You guys have got connections now, yeah? Has anyone here used connections, used the activities? Yes? So inside Lotus Notes, there are these two fantastic Lotus Notes sidebar plugins. One of them is called Activities, and what Activities will allow you to do, no, I don't want to save that. Escape, 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 escape. So what this Activities plugin is actually doing for me, it's going off to my Connections site, and it's showing me all of the activities that I'm involved with. Now, years ago, I may have received an email message which was all about, you know, going and visiting someone somewhere. And then I would forward that email to everyone in my company so they know that this email was received. With activities, of course, there is the activity that I'm working on, UK Lug. Sandra's email had something to do with that, so I can grab that email, drag it onto that activity. That will now automatically put the email inside the activity, and everyone who is sharing the activity with me can now see the email. I don't have to forward it to them. The session that I did a couple of days ago at UK Lug, where I wore the lovely yellow suit and a really fantastic Austin Powers blue frilly shirt, was actually a combination of Lotus Notes and IBM Connections, where we went through these sorts of things. So I've still got it in my bag if you want me to go and put it on, but it was hot as hell. It wasn't very attractive. Okay, sharing files, microblogging in the sidebar, Wildfire, here we go, how to install Wildfire, let's go. No widget, no plugin, no problem. Talking about mobile websites, most mobile websites that you come across, they tend to follow either one or two patterns. You'll see that they'll either be m.linkedin.com or linkedin.com/mobile. And nearly every, not that, these, for those of you that have, you don't have to turn it on. These things, the best thing about these things is that nearly every website on the planet now has a mobile version because of these things right here. And the best thing about these mobile websites, they make fantastic Lotus Notes sidebar plugins. They're just brilliant. Okay. So that's Lotus Notes. What have we done? We've known our notes, had a look at super shortcuts, fantastic bookmarks, sizzling search, had a look at our fantastic widgets and actions, played with a plugin, and then did a little bit of Get Social inside the Lotus Notes client. The credits, again, Mary Beth Raven helped me out with this presentation when we first did it, as well as Spanky the blog monkey. And at that point, does anyone have any questions? No, stop clapping. We're running out of time. Does anyone have any questions?